Okay, welcome to conversation number 3 of Moms of Men, and these are my men. I haven't introduced them since the first section, so I'm going to do it again. I've got Arden, Addison, Austin, and Mr. Alec right here next to me. We're going to be talking about an issue that we got more questions about than anything else. We're going to talk about sexual purity. And since I'm not a man, I'm going to rely pretty heavily on you guys when we talk about this. Awesome. And this is an issue that a lot of moms that don't have either healthy male influences, like maybe the dad's addicted to pornography, maybe they're divorced, or they're the single mom raising a son without any male in his life, in her son's life. These are issues that are hugely important. So what I'm going to ask you to kind of as the conversation starter was, what was the defining moment in each of you approached this in your youth where you actually understood that your sexual purity was something that was worth protecting?
Yeah. I'll go first. I know for me, the really defining moment was when I started realizing what it was doing to my marriage. And I wasn't married, and I'm still not married.
How old are you, Arden?
I'm 22.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was probably like 16 when I started realizing that. Because what I started realizing was, I had this thing, since I was a little kid, I've always just dreamed about my wife. And I was like, this is what she'll look like, this is what she'll act like, and this is how our marriage would be. But then I started realizing what pornography and those things actually do to marriage and how it compromises every facet of marriage and every facet of love and everything like that. And I was like, I am ruining what I have dreamed about already, and I'm not even married yet. And so when I had that realization, and I was like, not only is it something that we need to stay away from or something that's going to mess with you, I was like, no, it's ruining my marriage. Like, that revelation for me personally was something that really hit home and really was a turning point for me.
How did you come to that revelation as a 16-year-old boy?
I think it was just something, and it was just a very quick pickup from something that Dad was talking about. When Dad was sharing kind of his experiences one time, I think it was with our family, and just hearing him say, this is what was going on, and this was something that was carried into my marriage. And I was like, wait, this gets carried into your marriage?
You're like, wait, I thought marriage was going to fix that.
Exactly. I was like, no. But it doesn't. And so I was so happy that I had that revelation, because I think some people, they have different revelations, and I think each one of us have a different revelation, but for me, that was it.
And I love it was a revelation instead of a fear about sin.
Right. Yeah. Actually, speaking of revelation, I actually had one as well. So same thing, picking up on things that you and Dad were saying, kind of how, like, whenever you give yourself to somebody, you're literally giving a part of yourself to somebody. And then whenever you get to your wife, how much of yourself do you want to give to her? So I started to, like, imagine almost like a balloon that you blow up with air. And, like, if you were to blow it up with tons of air, and then if you were to hold it tight, and that instead of tying off purity, you have control of it, and you kind of hold it tight, right? And that whenever you may be doing things throughout your life before you're married, you can imagine that you can open it up a little bit and let out some air. You can open up a little bit more and let out some more. You can open up a little more and let out some more air. But then whenever you get to your wife, how big is this balloon going to be? Because, and so I kind of... Analogy. I know, I wanted, it's kind of like the way that I saw it, that I wanted to, whenever I came to my wife, I had this balloon that was still just completely full of all the air, and I wanted to completely give my heart, to her. So,
I love that. I love that you're thinking vision. I mean, it said that Jesus, for the hope set before him, and so for this hope of intimate sexual relationship with your wife and a marriage where you can fully give yourself, I love that both of you had that in front of you.
And really, that was the same for me. Like, you can run from something for only so long. Eventually, you need to run to something.
Right.
And I had a vision, this idea that God impressed on my heart of what it could look like to have a beautiful sexual experience with my wife. And that was a driving force for me.
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Austin?
I'd say it's a combination of a few things. I would say one of the first things was a real revelation of God's love for me. And then that revelation spilled into a revelation of God's love for other people. And so just realizing, like, especially with pornography and stuff like that you just don't treat people that way. And like valuing them as a human being